Lakers turned the ball over, James, 19 times for 28 Charlotte points. That's what kind of kept Charlotte in the game, but the Lakers hold on to get the win. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's almost the tale of two halves. You know, AD starting out dominating in the first half. Lakers had that big lead, and then all of a sudden they went away from that, started to turn the ball over, took Charlotte for granted. Even without ball, they were even, still a dangerous team, seemed like coming back. But, you take the win, you move on, and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, I think throughout the course of an 82-game season, you're going to have games like this where they're not always going to be pretty, but you learn to accept the wins. You figure out, you watch the film, ways in which you can be better. I think the biggest thing is in the past, we've looked at box scores and seen 19 turnovers for 28 points. We've seen being outscored by 24 from deep, and it has not resulted in a win.
Yeah.
So using that word connected in moments when the game kind of gets twisted, something we're seeing move in the right direction for the Lakers. They got it done.
You said on the pregame show, got to beat this team tonight. They're not very good, especially after they lose LaMelo Ball with 9 minutes of playing time. He's done. You got to beat Philly tomorrow. No Paul George and no Embiid. The Lakers should be favored to do that. And finally, you got to win in Washington. That's really not a good team. Putting away the teams are supposed to. Now 16-2 against teams below 500. That's impressive. I wish they were a little better against teams over 500. But bottom line, Geet, they did what they had to do. Wasn't pretty. Lost a huge lead. Some people are really nervous about how this game was going to end, but they got it.
And that worries me. That worries me. The teams that they should put away, when you start like they did, you can't afford to give that up. You got to go ahead and finish that out. That's the one thing. Teams that are not that good, especially without ball, you cannot allow them to get back in the game. That could have gone ugly. Mm-hmm. A couple of shots gone and just get back in the game.
By the way, Lakers have now defeated the Eastern Conference in 6 straight games after starting 3-7 this year, so that's a good sign. Let's go back to Charlotte. Jared Vanderbilt is with Mike Trudell.
All right, Jared, we know there are no easy wins in the NBA. Charlotte was always going to keep coming back. What did it take to just put them away down the stretch?
Man, it took us all locking in. The way the league going right now, a 20-point lead ain't safe, especially with a team like this that play hard, shoot a lot of threes. So we started off really well, and then that's on me and some of the second unit. We kind of, took a foot off the gas where we should have kept going. But shout out to the guys for locking in on those last 2 quarters and coming together and just playing harder than them.
Just your second game back from injury, Jared. Kind of a typical Jared Vanderbilt play, though, halfway through the fourth quarter. You jump a passing lane, get the steal, go down and dunk it. You can tell kind of LeBron and AD came over to you and said, hey, that's what we need.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I feel like when I'm in my element. So shot wasn't falling. I'm still trying to get my feet under me a little bit. But the one thing I can't control is just playing hard and playing physical. And I think by picking up and trying to get them out of their sets, it kind of shifted the game for us. So
you guys are playing your best basketball this year.
Vanderbilt loved what he had to say there about controlling how you play hard and play physical. So AD, we mentioned the monster game that he had.
But then what I love is what he was getting in traffic. Offensive rebounds, putbacks. I think he had 8 offensive rebounds tonight. And when he wasn't getting open shots, he was outworking his opponents to get to the basketball. So he was on one tonight. It was nice.
231, by the way, I'm sorry. That is insane.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head
Taking
around
nothing
that.
away from AD Davis and how incredible, but 231 is nuts. I think, too, just seeing the focus and what we saw from AD from the jump, everyone just looked like a drill cone out there, like an orange cone. Like he wasn't seeing any opponent and standing in his way. He was getting to his spots. He was getting what he wanted, and he did it within the flow of the offense. And I think, too, that really was something that was a catalyst for the offense there in the first quarter. As we talked about, the 11 assists on the 16 made field goals had everyone connected. I also think the positive, too, in a sense of first understanding when AD's not on the floor. That's something that needs to be, I think, addressed in a sense of how the offense flows, what the rotations look like. I know Vando just mentioned, and there was a lineup out there that hadn't had a lot of time with one another. But when things got tough, we didn't see AD fade away. We continued to see him throughout the second half. They went to him early in the third quarter and continued there in the fourth. And that's obviously a positive, and just understanding who your bread and butter is and feeding off that the rest of the way. Here
are some of the things we've been talking about a lot lately. Max Christie, playing good basketball. LeBron, ageless wonder at age 40. Dorian Finney-Smith, good acquisition for the Lakers. Austin Reeves, playing good, dishing out the ball, scoring the ball. We're not talking about Anthony Davis, because I feel like we're so used to him getting 28 points, 12 or 13 rebounds, 4 or 5 stocks, because he's so reliable and so dependable. He doesn't like rip any headlines and say, yeah, I did this, I did that. So finally he did tonight with a 40-20 game. Good job, AD. Maybe we should talk about you a little bit more on these shows. There's been a couple other headlines we can get to, but great job by him tonight. He's just so steady. It's crazy.
All right, guys, let's get to JJ Redick. He's speaking with Mike in the media.
JJ, what did you make of AD's night?
He put in two days of work tonight. 21 and 11 in the first quarter, I think it was, and 21 and 12 the rest of the way. Just carried us all night. Felt like, we moved him around. He played with force. I thought his hands and touch and just the pursuit of the basketball on the offensive glass, all that stuff was just awesome tonight.
You had to use a bunch of groups that you haven't used, just with guys out and Vanderbilt back. What's the difficulty of kind of having those guys find a rhythm and short notice like that?
Be honest with you, I said this to Bob when I was walking off the court. We played hard for 4 quarters. Now, it was not pretty, but we played hard for 4 quarters. I think for me, we made a lot of mental errors tonight. And look, I don't know if that's coming off Saturday and the long flight yesterday and getting acclimated to East Coast time, but it felt a little bit of brain fog, less so than just like guys not playing hard. Guys played hard tonight, and guys were connected tonight. We just had a lot of mental errors. We had 3 timeouts in the first half that we didn't run the correct play. The Doe's pass with the clock running. We don't need to like get it out quickly after a made basket with 3 minutes to go and a lead. Like just stuff like that. There was a lot of mental errors more so than just effort and talk and all that stuff. Our guys were great with that tonight.
Q&A for LeBron. Let's go inside the Laker locker room. He's with Mike.
LeBron, the last time AD had a counting stats game like this, I think you rightly corrected me in not overlooking it, saying it's normal. I guess the 5th 40-20 game of his career. What did you see from him tonight?
Just locked in, dominant from start to finish. Obviously, the first quarter, double-double in the first quarter. He carried us tonight on our first game on the East Coast, and listen, it was everything. He had it all going.
About halfway through the fourth quarter, Vando jumped the passing lane, got a steal, got a dunk, and it's like you and AD both went up to him. You've been missing that kind of thing from him. What have you made from his 2 games, and how much is that going to help you guys?
Obviously, it's going to be a process of him getting back, getting his legs back, getting his wind back. But just the things that he do for our ball club, we missed it. Obviously, the extra possessions he get, his defensive obviously intensity, and then being able to jump past him. He has a knack for that. So that was a big time steal right there. Made them call a timeout.
You guys dominated early. Things kind of went in another direction, and starting with the second quarter. Just what did you see out there from Charlotte, from you guys that led to that?
I mean, listen, we didn't come here to try to blow nobody out. We came here to win the game, and we played hard, from start to finish. They made a lot of threes, but we did what we had to do to close out the game. So I feel like we got better than that.
LeBron, they made that run in the third quarter to close the gap. What was when JJ called the timeout? What was setting that timeout to get the momentum going back in the right direction?
Just calm down. Let's execute offensively. Let's buckle down a little bit more defensively and finish the quarter out.
When shot making isn't there for you guys, 3-point shot tonight really was good for anybody. What did you like best about the other ways you guys found to score? We're still aggressive. We're still aggressive with our shooting, and obviously the ball cover came from me and AR not being able to connect from the outside. But we had some timely makes. We had some timely shots. We continued to defend, even though they did a good job of attacking us at some points. But when you get those timely stops and those timely scores, it definitely helps.
Right here.
All right, guys, let's talk a little LeBron James, 22 points, 8 assists, big game James, getting it done.
No question. As you hear LeBron speak in the postgame interview there, you can tell that he understood the importance of this game.
Yeah.
First one out after having success at home, but the mission was accomplished, and that's what you want from your captain as he led the team to victory tonight. AD, of course, scored, but AD understands the importance of getting these games and moving on to the next one.
Yeah, I think oftentimes you can look at a schedule way ahead of time and think schedule loss, right? Many would say it'd probably be tomorrow in Philly, second night of a back-to-back. But you could also look at this one. I mean, they're the second worst team in the Eastern Conference, Charlotte is. They got 12 wins on the season. You're in Charlotte. LaMelo goes down in the first quarter, and human nature could have set in, and that's actually the opposite of what happened. The Lakers found a way to rally, and LeBron said it. We didn't come here to blow anyone out. We came here to win the game. As long as you get better, you take steps in the right direction, you live with that.
All-NBA first-team type of game for AD. Back to Buzz City. AD is speaking with Mike.
AD, I know it's not about the counting stats to you, but 40-20 doesn't happen often. It's the fifth time in your career if you don't count the play-in game, or sorry, the NBA Cup final officially. What was going on tonight where you were able to kind of find that level of production at the rim and overall?
Shot was just feeling good. Teammates did a good job setting me up, especially Austin. In the pocket, the jumper, getting to the line. So, all facets of the game was working. Missed 2 threes, but just the entire team, not just me, I think. The way we've been playing, moving the basketball, and playing for each other, not caring who scored, as long as we score. Things just been able to open up for me. So.
Yeah, I know Rui's been out these last two, but with Vanderbilt into the action, Dorian getting a little more comfortable. Are you feeling some of that kind of the athleticism, the length, and some of that just additional help? It's also with Jackson playing more in those two big lineups.
Yeah, our defense, is a lot different. When Vanderbilt's in the lineup, and you get Doe, who's still on a minute restriction, but finding his way. Jackson, when we go to the two big lineups, so it allows us to do a lot of things, schematically, defensively to disrupt teams. And then when Vando's, his ball pressure, like we've seen today, passing lanes, and the way he affects the game defensively, is something that we've missed.
You guys